Hello, myself Anusha, working as an assistant professor in the department of CSE. Today here I am going to explain about data types in Python. So first of all, Python data types are actually classes and the defined variables are their instances or objects. Since Python is dynamically typed, the data type of a variable is determined at runtime based on the assigned value. Okay, the meaning of this line is generally in other programming languages like C and Java, we used to declare a variable in this way: data type followed by variable name, and it is initialized with some value. Okay, whereas in Python we initialize a variable or we declare a variable, so without any declaration of a data type. Okay, so in other programming languages we have to write int a is equal to 20, which is nothing but data type followed by variable name, and it is initialized with some value, and this initialization is optional. Coming to Python, here we need to declare a variable and we need to initialize it with a value. So we are not supposed to define any kind of data type preceded with the variable declaration, because as here in the line I have already mentioned, Python is dynamically typed language. So during the execution of Python program, it is the responsibility of Python interpreter to identify the data type of a variable depending on the value initialized to it. So because of this reason, Python is considered as dynamically typed language. Okay. In general, data types are used to define the type of a variable. So if I treat a as an integer type, it means a is a variable is capable enough to store only integer values but not floating point values. That is what the data type usage. It is going to define the type of value held by the variable. Next, Python has 6 built-in standard data types. They are numeric types, string types, list types, tuple types, set type, and dictionary. So starting with the numeric type, so again numeric data types are divided into 3 in Python: integers, float, and complex numbers. Okay, so whenever we declare any variable with a value of whole numbers, suppose a is equal to 30, a is equal to 100. Whenever we initialize variables with whole numbers, Python interpreter is going to treat the data type of a here as integer, because so this variable is holding a value which is a whole number. Next, whenever we declare a variable a initialized with a value 3.7, or whenever we declare a variable b initialized with a value 100.0. So whenever we are trying to store numbers with decimal points, those are treated as floating point numbers by the Python interpreter, and the data type assigned to a and b here is float. Next, coming to complex numbers. Complex numbers are represented by complex class. It is specified as real part plus imaginary part. Like whenever we declare a variable in this way, 2 plus, like real part plus imaginary combination. Imaginary combination, like here 2 is called treated as a real part and 1 is treated as an imaginary part. By default, j value will be square root of -1. Okay, these type of when we initialize these type of values to variables, then Python interpreter is going to consider the data type of these variables as complex. So here in Python, all the data types are classes. So whatever the variables we create using the data, so these variables are treated as objects of these data type classes. Suppose if I say a is equal to 2 plus ij here in this example, here a is an object of complex class. Next, these are the examples. Like whenever I initialize a is equal to 5, it means 5 is a whole number initialized to a variable a. So now Python interpreter is going to give the data type of a as int. So whenever we wanted to check the type of any variable in Python, we have a predefined function called type. Okay, whenever we call type of any variable name with which we want to check the data type, so it is going to give you the data type of that particular variable. If you see, we initialize here a with 5. It means 5 is a whole number, so it is an integer, so it will be giving you the output as class int. So as I have already told you, so all the data types in Python are classes. So whatever the variables we create using these data types, they are objects of these data type classes. Next example here, b is equal to 5.0. So 5.0 is a decimal point number. So whenever we check the type of b, or whenever we are trying to print type of b, it is prompting you with class float. So like this is a variable which is assigned with the data type class float. Next, whenever we say c is equal to 2 plus 4j, here 2 is a real part, 4 is an imaginary part, and by default, so j value is square root of -1. So whenever we say print type of c, it is going to represent that c is a variable of type complex. So all these three are the numeric data type supported by Python. Next, coming to the next data type, string data type. So string is a sequence of Unicode characters. There is no character data type in Python. A character is a string of length 1. It is represented by str class. So any sequence of characters which are enclosed inside quotations are treated as strings in Python. So here I am having a variable called str, and it is initialized with ABCD, which is enclosed inside double quotations. Now this can be treated as a string. Suppose if I say str1 is equal to a. In other languages, whenever we are dealing with single characters, we have a char data type. But in Python, so even though we are dealing with single characters or sequence of characters, so it will be considered as string type only. So here str1 is a variable of string length 1. Next, strings in Python can be created using single quotations, double quotations, or even triple quotations. And one point here to be noted is strings are immutable in Python. It means once we define the strings, the string values cannot be modified. So here this is the example. Welcome to Python programming is a sequence of characters which are enclosed in double quotations, and it is placed inside a variable name str. So now if you wanted to know what is the type assigned to the str variable by Python interpreter, we need to call this method type of str. So it is going to give you this output, class followed by str. It means str is a variable which belongs to the string class, or str is an object which belongs to string class data type. Next, one more example. Here str1 is initialized with 1, 2, 3, which is enclosed in quotations. So if it is str1 equal to 1, 2, 3, so as 1, 2, 3 is a whole number, so str1 is initialized with int data type. So now if you see 1, 2, 3 is enclosed inside double quotations, it means now 1, 2, 3 is a string. It is not a numeric type. So we will be displayed the type of str1 as string str. Next data type, list. So whenever we wanted to store sequence of elements, or whenever we wanted to store multiple objects together within a single variable, so we have to use these kind of data structures or data types. So lists are just like arrays declared in other languages, which is an ordered collection of data. It is very flexible as the items in a list do not need to be of the same type. So it means lists are going to store multiple elements into it. So lists are mutable. Like once we create the list, we can change or perform any modifications on the list. So, and list can store heterogeneous types of elements. It means here I am creating a list variable L, and I am initializing it with A enclosed inside quotations 1, 3.45. Okay, it means, so as I have already told you, L is a list is a heterogeneous type. So it will be able to store multiple elements with different data types. So here if you see, the first element I have stored is a string, second element is integer, third element is a floating point number. Okay. Next, to create list, we have to use square brackets. Square brackets are used to create lists. Lists in Python can be created by just placing the sequence inside the square brackets. So, this is the example A, and it is initialized with 1, 2, 3, like comma separated elements which are enclosed inside square brackets. Whenever we declare any data in this type, Python interpreter is going to treat that it is a list, and all the properties whatever we talk about list are going to applied on variable A. Next, tuple data type. So, both list and tuple are almost same. The major difference between list and tuple is lists are mutable, like we can perform modifications on list, but tuple is immutable. Once if I define a tuple, so here I initialize t is equal to 1, 2, 3. Once this step has been executed, or once this statement has been executed, I cannot add one more variable to the tuple. Like tuple doesn't accept the modifications. That is the major change between list and tuple. Rest properties are all same for list and tuple. So just like a list, a tuple is also an ordered collection of Python objects. The only difference between a tuple and a list is that tuples are immutable. This is what I have spoken. Tuples cannot be modified after it is created. Tuples are created by placing a sequence of values separated by a comma with or without the use of parentheses for grouping the data sequence. So, earlier to create a list we use square brackets. In the same way, to create a tuple in Python we use parentheses. So, this is the example. A is initialized with 1, 2, 3 elements which are comma separated and enclosed inside parenthesis. To check the type of A, we will be calling type of A. So, it is going to give us class tuple. Next data type, set data type. So, earlier string, list, tuple are considered as sequence data types because they are going to maintain the insertion order. So, coming to set and dictionary, they are considered as unordered data types because they are not going to maintain insertion order. So, a set is an unordered collection of items. Every set element is exclusive. It means no duplicates and must be immutable, cannot be changed. A set is an unordered collection. Indexing will be meaningless. Hence, the slicing operator doesn't work. Comma separated items in a set are put inside curly brackets or braces. So, whenever we say set, so here I am declaring a sample set S is equal to. So, sets are going to declare using curly braces. So, open curly brace, and you can write or insert any elements into your set. So, whenever you are completing insertion, close it with a close curly brace. So, as I have already told you, sets are unordered. It means, so the order in which I have entered into the set is 1, 2, 3, 4. While I am retrieving the elements from the set, it might not be the same order. It might get like 4, 2, 3, 1 or else 2, 4, 3, 1 in that way. So, because of this only sets are called as unordered collections. It doesn't maintain the insertion order. So, here this is the example, as sets are also heterogeneous data types. So, here I have declared a variable called S and it is initialized with these values. So, first one is a whole number. So, it is an integer. Next, enclosed in quotations, this is a string. Next, floating point number. So, this is float. Next, so real part plus imaginary part j. So, this is a complex number, and the next one is also a floating point number. Okay. So, and all these are comma separated and enclosed inside curly braces. So, it is called as a set. Whenever we check the type of yes, it is going to display you as set type. Next, coming to dictionary data type. So, as I have already told you, set is unordered collection. In the same way, dictionary is also unordered collection. It doesn't maintain the insertion order. Okay. So, we declare dictionaries also using curly braces, but the difference between set and dictionary is, so set contains single elements, whereas dictionary contains key comma value pairs inside it. So, in Python, dictionary is an unordered collection of data values that stores data values like a map of key value pairs. A colon separates each key value pair during a dictionary in the representation of a dictionary data type. Meanwhile, a comma separates each key. So, here if you look at the example, here I have declared a variable called dict1. which is initialized with these elements. So here I can consider 1 as a key, because so here we mentioned colon separates each key comma value pairs. So here colon is separating 1 and hello, so that the element before the colon is considered as a key and the element after the colon is considered as a value. So and each key comma value pairs are separated by comma. Okay, so here comma, so again 2 is a key, 5.5 is a value, and 3 is a key, world is a value. So whenever we check the type of dictionary, so it is going to give us class of dict. So these are the major data types what we have to concentrate on in Python. Thank you.